Saints this offseason, right? They had no salary cap space. And then they franchise their safety. They're able to re-sign Taysom Hill. They're able to bring back Jameis, even though they're both at lower rates, right? But gosh, the Saints, it seems like they created salary cap space out of nowhere. So that's where things get interesting, because what they have been struggling to do, and what some other teams are doing very, very well, is apply the rollover NFL tax. So in the past, teams would actually give players these dummy bonuses so that they could essentially move salary cap from one year to the next. So before the 2011 collective bargaining agreement, teams, for example, would say, oh, okay, you're our third string quarterback. We're going to put in a $20 million bonus that says if you score 7 passing touchdowns in our last regular season game of the season, we'll give you a $20 million bonus. What would happen is that none of those players would cash in on those bonuses, right? Because of that money would roll over to the next year's salary cap because the team didn't use it that year, even though they had players signed under that year for that amount. So teams were all they were doing was getting around the NFL, right? So the NFL got smart. They realized teams are going to roll over this money anyways. So what they did was they put in a provision saying, if you don't use, let's say the 49ers, for example, their cap this year is $182 million, right? They're using right now about $167 million of that. If the team were to say, cut Jimmy Garoppolo, have $40 million of cap space now, and then spend none of that money at all and wait till the end of the season and not touch a single dollar of all that salary cap space, they would get $40 million added to their salary cap for 2022. So you can see how teams can strategically plan for the future and specifically find years for their Super Bowl window. So if you're a team like the 49ers, for example, this year, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. That's my opinion. The good thing about that is if you're self-aware enough to recognize that you're not a Super Bowl contender, you can roll over $40 million of salary cap space to next year and make yourself a Super Bowl contender for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years instead of just focusing on 2021. That's where teams really need to get out of their own way, and instead of convincing the fans that, oh, we can win with Jimmy Garoppolo, oh, we're bringing back all of our players on one-year deals, this is a win now year. No, the 49ers should not be doing that. That would be terrible, because that means that they wouldn't be able to build better around Trey Lance in the future. If they set aside salary cap space and work this out smartly, they can build a superstar team around Trey Lance and create one of the best rosters in the NFL, independent of the quarterback. So for me, if I'm trying to set up Trey Lance for success, that's what I want to do. I want the salary cap space to roll over to next year, right? So that teams are able, so that the 49ers are able to spend the money better. And guess what? Your Eric Armsteads of the world, your Trent Williams of the world, your Kyle Juszczyks of the world, you don't have to worry about cutting those guys, trading